Hi, welcome to my Informs email platform tutorial. My name is Amber and I am the CEO of Email Maven, and today we're going to talk about email preference landing pages, specifically how to create one when you're using message categories. So let's dive in. So we want to provide our members with email preference landing pages to allow them to opt out or in to any specific type of email preference we're giving them. This is always a critical thing to do. So today we're going to show you how to make that landing page using message categories. Now, before we get started, you know 4 different things. Number 1, you can create landing pages for email preferences with either message categories or interests. There's pros and cons to both. So message categories is our preferred option for people who have easy data to understand, and especially for any association who has multiple staff who are sending out emails. The reason for this is because message categories can be required. So it's very easy for staff just to categorize the type of email they're sending, which automatically applies any opt-outs that have come through. And there's a setting that I'll show you that requires that to be done so no one forgets about it. So especially if you have a larger staff or multiple hands here in Informs, we really recommend using that. The only downside of message categories is number 1, that you cannot add multiple message categories. So if you are using multiple opt-outs for an email, don't use this option. The other thing is message categories are not opt-ins, they are only opt-outs. So if you want to do an opt-in situation, you need to use interest categories. So I've linked below to our interest video so you can find that there. The second thing you need to know is, what are your email preferences? What options are you going to give your members to opt out of? In this case, I highly recommend that you bucket information. So give them some large bucket items such as on-demand learning and webinars, or awards programs, or partner offers, or in-person events. I also suggest that you list out individual newsletter names because we tend to send those a lot and people should have the option to remove their option from there. Third thing you're going to need is your landing page language. So what do you want people to read when they go to remove their preferences? I'm going to show you what we recommend here. If you want to use something else, please do. Just make sure you have that ahead of time. And last but not least is you're going to need a header. On the landing page, I like to just use a basic email banner that includes the company's logo, the association logo, and just so our page looks like it belongs to us. Alright, so once you know if you're using message categories or interests, you know what email preferences you're going to provide, you know what our landing page language is, and you have your email header, then let's dive in. Alright, so first thing you're going to need to do is go on your left hand side. We're going to actually need to create the message categories first. So you're going to go to Messages and then Message Categories. This is a space where you're going to create your categories. So I like to be very clear here about what they are. In this case, these are opt-outs, and I'm going to say a few things. I'm going to say awards program. I personally don't put in a description. You can. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to continue to put in message categories using this little plus sign here as needed. So let's put in a few more. Opt-out, on demand, and webinar learning. And let's do one more. Opt-out, partner offers. Alright, most associations have anywhere from 5 to 8 message category options, so make sure you get those all filled out so it's very clear for your members that they know what they're getting out of. Now, once we have these, then we can move in to create our landing page. So head over to your left-hand side and click landing page. Now, from here, you're going to want to click your create page button. Here, I like to just use the very first form option that pops up. We need this to be a form because someone needs to submit information, and I like this basic template because then I can make changes to it. Alright, so this is what your landing page looks like in general. Mine has remembered the formatting that I've used in the past, but we're still going to review how you can change that. So yours might look a little bit different in the beginning. So here's what we're going to do first. I want to put a header at the top, so a header banner, so people know it's me. Then I'm going to change out the language and then add in the message categories. So before I start doing that, I need to move all of this information down. So I can fit in here a banner. Now, I'm going to move my face here. You're going to need to use your right navigation to find everything you need to do for your landing page. So you see there's two buttons. You've got a style tab and an items tab. In this case, we're adding a new item. So click items and then click image. This is automatically going to pop you into your asset manager, and I'm just going to grab my email header here. Then from there, you're going to drag and drop this. You see this little green spot, you can pick it up and move it up. Oh, I didn't like that. There you go. I think it might be a little too big. Let's make it a little smaller, which I wanted to do anyway. There we go. Pull this over, then re-center and add anything you'd like. Now, this is the recommended language we use. You can utilize anything else that you feel is appropriate for your landing page. Alright, let's grab this page title. We like to be very positive. Let's get you the emails you want. The whole point of this member journey is that we're here to support them and care for them, so I want to make sure I'm giving them what they want, not what I want them to get. So my headline is going to be that. Then I'm going to change this title to say, customize your email preferences by selecting the types of emails you want to receive. You will no longer receive emails that you have been unchecked. This is the language that a lot of associations will change out depending on what their members are used to seeing, and how much instruction they need to get. I feel like this is sufficient, but we have a lot of clients that make it a lot more elaborate. I like to shorten up these boxes because this creates a lot of white space in between. You'll see at the end how that looks. Okay, now we need our message categories here. So again, we're going to head to our right hand side and pick items. Here we're going to select Message Categories checkbox. Now, this is going to automatically pull in all the message categories you have, which case is exactly what we want here today. But if for some reason you don't want something, you can simply highlight over it and exit out. You can also move it if you decide you would like something at the top instead of something else. And you can add in a sub-sentence. So I really like this option. So we're going to add in a sub-sentence on this first one. All of this is fully changeable. I'm actually going to pull this sentence down to here. Alright. I don't want it to say opt out of the beginning. That's really for us on the backside. They don't need to see. On demand and webinar learning. Like we'll say something like monthly newsletter, and individual emails letting you know, what learning options are available. Okay, you can make these whatever you want. This is one benefit of message categories that you cannot do with interests. So it's really nice to be able to say what's happening. I especially like this for newsletters. So if you have something that's called, the association update or something, it's nice right here to say this is a bi-weekly newsletter, a monthly newsletter, etc. Just give people some timing information so they know what they can expect. None of us want a ton of emails, but when I see like a weekly or a monthly email, I'm more likely to say, okay, I want to get that. Alright, so go ahead and update anything else you want here. I'm going to keep this simple for the sake of this and just shorten those up, and then shorten this box up for padding's sake, and then we'll move back up the email box and the save button. Now that email box will be auto-populated with a person's email if they've received an email from you. So let's say they did receive that newsletter, they clicked email preferences link, they will go here and their email will be automatically populated in there, which is really nice. If they got an email in a different way, then they're not going to have that. They're going to have to type it in. Alright, so I think this is looking pretty good. I'm now going to move this section back over. This is just the size of the page, but I like it a little bit tighter. I'm going to save this, and it's going to ask me what is this. So I'm going to say email preferences page. Your file name is the URL for your page. So keep it simple, underscore, whatever it is. I'm going to put this in my email preferences folder. And I'm just going to use the same description as the title because it's self-explanatory. Once you've done that, I like to pop over into styling and make some changes. So again, mine actually looks pretty on brand right now because I built a number of landing pages. If this is not your colors though, we want to make some changes. So I want to give some highlights here. Come over here on the right hand side to style. Then you're going to have a bunch of drop downs so you can change anything you want on this page. I like the background. I like the layout area colors. I personally like the text colors, but this is where you can change your header. This is your first header. This is your second header. Okay, this is where your paragraph would be and your hyperlink. Some associations here do like to say, have questions, contact us at, and put an email address. Make sure you change that hyperlink so it's a good color on brand. Your input fields don't really matter in this box, but your checkbox fields do. These are your checkbox fields. So you can see here that you've got your font, your heading font here, and then these are your checkbox sizes fonts. So you can make them a lot bigger or smaller. I like to keep everything here 14px and keep your spacing around px, which is the default. Then under button, you can change your background color, you can add a border, and you can change your font size and colors. Really, there's a lot of options here. So once you've got that all set, go ahead and close that menu up, give it another save, then you're going to need to pop over to your mobile tab. Unfortunately, it does not take your mobile content and put it exactly how you have it on the first page, so you just need to move everything again. So again, move out your page so you can easily just pop things over and out of the way, because you're just going to need to do a little rearranging here. Move that, pull this guy down. That's what happens if you put it on top of another box. Alright, here's this, my header, my subhead. I think this is a little too big. And then here's my message categories that I want to expand out so everything is seen. And then move back in my email and save button. You can even change this language to submit as well, whatever you think. Alright, then I'm going to pull back in these sides. This is just the size of your page, so we don't want it to be like massive. Alright, save you. Then we're going to click activate to test it. So from here, click test landing page so you can give it a look. Did you do everything right? This white spacing that's where you're seeing that extra box space between the text. So if you don't like how big that is, shorten it up and that spacing will go away. Everything else is looking good. I'm also going to test my landing page. Looks good as well. Okay, then the next thing you want to do is pop back over to your process tab. Now, in process, you need to know, in this case, just what happens when someone submits this form. Where are we going to redirect the user? There's two options here. One, you could put in your home landing page for your website. And so when they're done, they're just going to get popped over to your website. The second option is a general thank you landing page. So you can create just a general landing page that just says, thank you for your submission. Leave it as simple as that because you can use it on a lot of different landing pages. In my case, I'm going to use my web page and then that's it. There's a lot of other settings in here. You don't need to know any of them for email preferences. This is definitely for other situations more. Alright, but you've done that, you're going to go ahead and activate now. And this is also where you can grab that URL if you need it, and you can grab your code. So if for some reason you decide you want to embed this on your website, you can grab the code here to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and activate my landing page. Now, you can see you've got a nice URL here that tells you what it is. You're going to be able to see your views and submits. And then when you're in your template, so when you're creating your template, which there's another video for that, make sure you're properly linking to your email preferences pages. And when you're sending an email, make sure you're properly categorizing those message categories. So the last thing I promised I was going to show you is how to make this required. So again, one of the benefits of message categories is that you have to select one if you check a box in a setting. So especially if you have multiple people touching in forms, I would really encourage you to select this box. So go to Settings, click System Settings, and then scroll and you can see this header, Message Categories. Require message categories for all messages. If you check that box, people have to categorize, which means everyone will always ensure that people are properly opted out of emails. If you uncheck it, then people just have to remember to put in the category. So if you're going to use them, I recommend requiring it. Alright, that's a lot of information. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. If this was helpful, please like and subscribe, and watch out for more of our Informs tutorials.